Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we put out our top 10 vehicles of 2023. It landed on Christmas Day. A lot of people watched it. And we got some questions about, what about this car? What about that car?
Yeah.
So we talked, Andrea and I, we talk a lot. And we came up with, what about a list of cars that almost made it?
Almost made the list.
And why they didn't make it.
Yes. We thought that was a good idea. Some of you were saying, oh, how could you put a BMW on the list? They're so unreliable. But everybody has different needs and wants. Always remember that. Some people buy vehicles for driving pleasure, and BMW tackles that. If reliability is your number one concern, then maybe you'll buy a Toyota or Lexus.
Well, Toyota for a second. There were too many Toyotas. We couldn't have a top 10 and then be 5 of them Toyotas. So let's get into our list.
Yeah, we wanted to share the love on our top 10.
All right, so the almost top 10 list, also in alphabetical order.
Yeah. So to kick off our list, we have no A, but we're starting with B, and guess what? It's another BMW, the BMW X5.
Do you know what BMW stands for, don't you?
What does it stand for, Zach?
Bring my wallet.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Or Bob Marley and the Wailers. I like Bob Marley better.
Don't start this. Someone's going to come and start doing BMW and list things off.
Oh, go for it. Knock yourself out. Type below. So the X5 has been one of our favorites. And we just think the inline 6-cylinder engine is fantastic.
Yeah.
It does everything really well. In fact, I think it is the best in this class up against the Cayenne and the GLE.
Beautiful.
I would take X5 pretty much 9 out of 10 times.
Just wonderful handling. The automatic transmission is quick shifting. It's fantastic. I mean, I just love everything about the X5. And now the plug-in hybrid, we used to complain about the range being too low.
No. No, the range was terrible. It was like 28 kilometers, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
They've improved on it. It's now 60 kilometers, 40 miles. So the X5 does a lot right. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, BMW doesn't have the best reliability, but for those who own an X5, they're very happy with it. And if you do own one, tell us about the reliability. Type below. We'd love to hear from you.
So why did the X1 make the list and not the X5? The reason why the X1 made the list is it's a more attainable vehicle for more people. So we're all about for the people. Yeah. So the X5 is more of a niche product for affluent buyers, but those who can afford it, you're going to like it.
Yeah. Up next is the Ford Mustang. Boy, did we ever have fun at the drive event. That GT model with the 6-speed manual transmission, beautiful. And it looks good.
Yeah, and so what you have to think about with the Ford Mustang is I think this is a placeholder car to get them to whatever they're going to do with maybe an electrified version or a plug-in hybrid version or whatever plans they have at the Ford Motor Company. So the platform and the engines and the transmission are carried kind of over.
Yeah.
What they focused on was aesthetics on the outside, but the big deal is the new interior. And at first glance, people are like, I don't know, the screen thing, why are we going down the screen road? Everybody's doing that. Trust us. After driving it for a couple of days, we liked it. We thought it was just fine.
Yeah, and you get used to it. One thing I am disappointed in is that the manual transmission is no longer available on the turbocharged 4-cylinder powertrain. Ford says it didn't sell, so they eliminated it. If you do want a manual transmission, you have to get the GT model, but boy, is it ever fantastic.
So one of the reasons it didn't make the list is the price has gone way up. You want to shop for a Mustang GT and start adding in some things extra that you want to put in there, man, that thing gets expensive in a hurry. It's going to be one of those cars though, Andrea. If you like the idea, get it now because it's not going to be around forever.
I did ask a product planner about, what are your plans for an electric vehicle for a Mustang? And you know what they said to me? We already have one. We have the Mach-E. I thought, you know what I mean, I said to them.
You know,
and they responded with, again, we have the Mach-E.
Yeah, but the real answer to that, Andrea, is that's not really a Mustang. Come on.
No. Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Mustang's on the list. Of not the list.
Of not the list, yeah. So sometimes we really battle it out with our top 10 list. Sometimes there are vehicles I want to add to the list and Zach doesn't want, and vice versa. This next one is one of them. I really wanted the Honda Accord Hybrid on the top 10 list. I really pushed for it, but we couldn't agree. So the list is about what we both agree on. So Next up, the Honda Accord Hybrid. I think it is an absolutely terrific vehicle. I get it. Zach's he thinks the exterior design is so boring, but there are other reasons why I would buy this vehicle. It handles beautifully. The fuel economy is very good on this model. I think the interior is quite nice, but just the overall product is so good. So Zach says, I'm not putting that on the top 10 because
it's freaking dull looking. It is the most uninspired design I've seen in a car in a long time. I know car and driver put it on their top 10 list. It's been on their top 10 list for many, many, many decades.
I think it's fab.
And it does drive well. The hybrid system is very good. All of that is true. But boy, they just came out with the most uninspiring design. I want to fast forward a year, Andrea, and see how the sales are compared to the old one. The old one didn't light the world on fire in terms of design either. I liked it, but some people didn't. I just think that this is so plain looking.
Yeah, it is plain looking. It's very conservative looking. Some people feel the same way about the Honda Civic and the design elements of that vehicle. This new model has improved in many different levels, from technology to comfort level to quietness of the cabin. In our review, I went out and said this is probably one of my favorite Hondas.
So we couldn't agree.
Couldn't agree on that one. So it made our top 10 list
of cars that didn't make the list.
That didn't make the list.
Something like that.
Here's another one that we kind of went back and forth on. It's the Mazda CX-90.
Okay, so Andrea is a huge Mazda fangirl.
I really
She just loves the brand. She loves everything about it. I like Mazda products. I think they do a very good job on many, many levels. But I was at the very beginning of all of this saying, this is all new technology for this company. It's an inline 6-cylinder engine that they haven't made before. It's a new automatic 8-speed automatic that they haven't made before. It's on a new elongated platform, and there's a lot of things going on here. And when we drove it initially, we were both blown away. But when we got both the regular inline 6 and the plug-in back here in Vancouver for a week each to drive, we noticed that the transmission is kind of buggy. It is very slow to downshift, even in sport mode. I just found it kind of, for an inline 6 rear wheel bias all-wheel drive system, it was lackluster.
Yeah, the transmission also bothers me. I think it's better in the plug-in hybrid than it is in the gas model. This is a unique proposition, you know, for Mazda to come out with an inline 6 and to offer a plug-in hybrid as well in the 3-row category, non-luxury. I think it has a lot of positives to it. First off, I like the power it offers. I like the 2 powertrain options, or you could say 3. There is a high output and then a lower output, depending if you use regular or premium fuel. They are tuned differently. I do think that their interiors on the higher trims are absolutely beautiful, but on the lower trims, not as exciting. I'm also disappointed that the top trims in Canada are only 6-passenger vehicles, so they offer captain's chairs and no bench seat available. And that's where all those extra features are in Canada.
No, that's what I was going to say. So when we went to the initial launch, we had the beautiful, like absolutely gorgeous luxury level interior.
Yeah.
And then at home, we got the more pedestrian plug-in hybrid version without all the big screens and without all the hang, stitch, and cloth and chrome interior. And you know what? It's just kind of basic when you just look at it for what it is. So I couldn't get behind it for, I got to drive it again and really enjoy any updates they do to the transmission. And I'm absolutely 100% sure they can. It's probably a software issue. And then they limit the nicest stuff to the very, very top trim.
I am looking forward to the CX-90 that's coming. It should have both the same powertrain options. I hope they do something with the transmission in that model. We're not the only ones who think this way about the transmission. I've had a couple people who actually bought the CX-90 after watching our review. They didn't think that it would bother them that much. One has a plug-in hybrid and one has the gas model, and they have noticed that the transmission is a little bit lazy, and it is starting to bother them over time, you know, of being in the vehicle.
Okay, I think it's going to be a software update. So we're doing our almost top 10 list, the vehicles that didn't make our official top 10 list in alphabetical order. Next is the Mercedes-Benz GLC.
This is a huge improvement from the previous model. I think that Mercedes-Benz did a great job on it. Couple things that I found with it. Really refined. The cabin is so quiet, easy to get in and out of the vehicle, and quite comfortable. What some people don't like about it is the large screen at the center console.
Everything's got to be done through that screen.
Yeah.
I will say though, Mercedes-Benz with their interface is one of the simplest and easy to use. Yes, you've got to use the screen, but boy, they make it simple and easy to understand. And one of the negatives for me, Andrea, is you would have to really know your Mercedes-Benz to know that this is a new car.
Yeah.
This is an all-new car. But when you look at it, it looks like the last car. And so back to the Honda Accord, you know, not that inspiring when it comes to the design on the Accord, and really taking zero chances on this GLC.
I guess Mercedes-Benz knows their audience. You know, they know what their people want and what they don't want. And so maybe just tweaks to the vehicle. Although the inside is a massive change for that vehicle. If you're looking for a sporty ride, you're not going to find it with the GLC. I would say it's more comfortable and refined.
What we're waiting to drive is the AMG version. That's going to get more performance.
That'll be fun. Now, we do have a soft spot for Porsche, as you know. Some say that we're biased, and we're okay with that.
We are biased. We like Porsches.
We do.
We've owned 5 of them.
So the next one didn't make our list, but we certainly talked about it. It's the Porsche Cayenne.
Now, why would you love the brand and have a new version of a car you own?
Yeah.
We're sitting in a Cayenne. And why would that not make your list? Well, they made some design choices that we just don't love. So it's all on the inside. On the outside, you'd be hard pressed to notice again how much has changed. It looks similar to the old one. But on the inside, instead of having a shifter here, they have it up on the dash, like a minivan.
Like the Taycan. That's what it is. Because what are we moving forward with?
Electrification, like a minivan.
Yeah.
And then all of this in the middle is all the shiny, hard plastic that they seem to not be able to abandon in Porsche products. Whether you're in the 911, any of their new cars, it's all this shiny, hard plastic. And you know what? It really cheapens the interior.
It does. Yeah, I think that those are the two disappointments for both of us. The way it handles, we really like it. It's not as firm of a suspension as what we're used to in our Cayenne that we have. It's a little bit softer. I think it'll be more comfortable for many people. Space-wise, it's good.
It's
Exterior design is great, and plenty of powertrain options for if you want something a little bit more sporty or powerful. You got it with the Cayenne.
So the big news, the big change, other than the silly interior, is that the Cayenne S now has the V8. It used to have a 2.9 liter twin turbo 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
And now they've brought back the old not the old V8, a new V8, but the old hardy V8 is back. That's the one you want to get if you want to keep it long term.
Up next is the Range Rover, whether you get the full size or you get the Sport. It is an absolutely gorgeous looking vehicle. Reliability?
Maybe not. Range Rover, Land Rover has consistently been at the bottom of the pack when it comes to reliability and durability scores from J.D. Power. However, when you drive this thing, my goodness, it is absolutely amazing. Every time we drive the new Range Rover, it's like, wow, they have it absolutely dialed in. The full-size one, you're driving along in a cloud of air with this amazingly powerful engine, spectacularly beautiful interior. All of that is good. They just got to work on the reliability.
Yeah, reliability is a big factor for people when they're buying it or not. Some people just want to get a Range Rover, and I can understand that because it really is terrific to drive. I enjoyed every minute of it, whether we were in the Sport or the full-size vehicle.
Oh, and we also drove the plug-in, and the plug-in has a fantastic range. So, but that's layering on even more complexity into a vehicle that is kind of known for being in the shop once in a while. So if you have one, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Have a Jag to drive. Oh, wait a second.
Oh, I don't know about
Forget
that.
about that
Yeah,
joke.
yeah. Up next is the Subaru Impreza. It didn't make our list because we put the Crosstrek on and we thought once again we'd spread the love to other brands. But boy, when we got in that vehicle and had it for a week, it is fantastic. It does everything really well. The cabin remains quiet. It has somewhat of a refined drive considering it is in the subcompact class, and it's priced well.
So why would we put the Crosstrek on and not the Impreza? So if you're not aware, they are both built on the same platform.
Yeah.
They are both the same size on the inside. People don't believe it.
No.
They go, well, the Crosstrek has got to be bigger.
Yeah.
No, it's just the cladding, and they lift it up off the ground. The interiors are the same. The engines are the same. The all-wheel drive system is the same, but one is tuned for a car and the other one is raised up with the cladding and turned into a crossover vehicle. So you're essentially getting the same technology for the most part in the Impreza, plus it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So the reason why we went with the Crosstrek over the Impreza is that they just sell I think it's about 4 to 1.
Yeah.
They sell so many more of the Crosstrek, so that's why it made the list.
Yeah, popularity-wise, the Crosstrek is the one. Yeah, and with the higher ground clearance, if you're dealing with deep snow or you're going along, you know, maybe a cottage trail, heading to the cottage, and there's lots of rocks and potholes, I think that you'll feel really quite comfortable in the Crosstrek. But Impreza.
Impressed.
Very good, Zach. Very good. And our last pick, this one didn't make our top 10.
Almost.
It's the Toyota Prius Prime.
And the reason why I didn't make the list is we couldn't have 5 Toyotas on the list.
I mean, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
And another reason why I was kind of saying, no, we're not going to do it is because the Prius we drove the previous year in 2022.
We did.
The Prime got pushed into the new year, into 2023.
Yeah.
So technically we did drive it in 2023. However, Prius was introduced the year before. It's a great product. You know who's really happy about this?
I know.
My brother.
Yeah.
He just got his. He's had it for like a week and a half.
Yes.
He seems pretty happy with it. So
He has hit his head a few times.
yeah, the roof line is lower. He said, in his first text, I said, how's the car going? And he goes, I already cracked my head getting into it. I said, well, that's good. There's nothing important anyway.
Oh, he must have loved that. He must have loved that. Well, he is absolutely loving it. We think it's a terrific vehicle. We like the range that it offers. It is a front-wheel drive model. It's the Prius that has both a front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive option, but in Canada, standard all-wheel drive. So if you're looking for all-wheel drive, you can get the hybrid option. I really love it. I think it looks fantastic. I think that Toyota nailed it with the design.
One other thing is, this is a Canadian-specific thing. Because it qualifies for the full $5,000 rebate in Canada, it's actually a better deal than the regular Prius.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get, good range, and is really competitive on price. So it's a great product. We just couldn't put another Toyota on the list.
So there's our almost top 10 list. These vehicles didn't quite make the cut, but we think that they are a great option.
So they almost made our top 10 list, but didn't. And we almost came up with 10 of them.
Almost. Actually, I did have an extra one in, and it was the Chevy Bolt EUV.
Well, now you've done it. Now it is 10.
And I really wanted to add it in this list, but Zach was saying, yeah, but it's not available anymore. Still,
they're not selling it anymore.
The 2023 model was so good. I wish that Chevrolet kept that vehicle.
It's coming back.
It's so good. Yeah, but it's going to be on a different platform. And is it going to cost more money than this one? I mean, this one was just priced so well, and it was actually really kind of fun to drive. And, you know, some might say it's cute as a button.
I should have one then. Here you go. So that is the 10 almost. Anyway, you get it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Sounds good.